Okay, the last thing we're going to talk about today are the different styles of promos. There's actually a lot of different styles, but we're going to focus on 4 that you can consider and when you're thinking about what kind of promo you want to write for KEOM. And we'll talk about the pros and the cons of each one. The first one I want to talk about is what's called a straight promo. In a straight promo, basically there's an announcer and they are basically going to deliver the facts. They're going to tell you everything that we talked about with the facts before. They're going to give you the name of the show. It's nothing really gimmicky or anything like that. So here's an example of one that we have done.
We sing that the stars at night are big and bright in Texas. Peering up at them poses more wonders than answers. And while many marvels have yet to be explained, astronomers are already informed on numerous aspects among the expansive space. KEOM's new feature, Stardate, shares what scientists know about celestial bodies we see in the evening sky. Informed by the University of Texas at Austin's McDonald Observatory, Stardate spends 2 minutes each day sharing insights on the topic of planets, stars, and elements in our solar system, giving you the chance to better understand how things act in the universe outside our atmosphere. 88.5 FM plays Stardate each morning at 7:30, 2:30 p.m. on the weekends, and 3:30 on weekday afternoons, and at 9:30 each evening to shed a little more light on your stars at night.
Okay, so that one, she just really gave us the facts. Now, it wasn't necessarily boring. She started off by doing a little quote from a song that we're familiar with. The stars at night are big and bright. So that kind of caught the listener's attention. That was something familiar to them. So it's not just that it's boring. You don't just start off and just be boring. But it is simple and it's to the point. They're pretty easy to write because you really just need to come up with a good way to catch their attention at the beginning and then just tell them the information. But it is the hard thing about straight promos is just to try to find a way to make it not boring. You still want people to listen to your promo and get interested in the show. Okay. The next one we want to talk about is a testimonial. Testimonials are kind of what they sound like. If you ever have been to church and someone goes up and gives a testimonial on how they came to know Jesus, that's a testimonial. But of course we're not going to do a religious thing here on KEOM for our shows. What a testimonial is just a voice, which would be of course you as the announcer, telling the listener how the show has helped you or impacted you, what you personally have gotten from the show. So here's an example of that.
Really? Foil? I would have never known that putting a small piece of foil on the couch would be enough to keep the dogs off. Now, having 4 dogs in my family is rough. No pun intended. But I need all the help I can get, and one of the places I go to is KEOM's Pet Tip, an original program hosted by Mara Davies from the SPCA of Texas. Being a full-time human and a pet owner can be demanding. However, there's hope for those pet enthusiasts. Whether it be choosing the right pet or managing the pet you already have, Davies gives a new tip every week. The program airs on Saturdays and Sundays at 7:45 in the morning, 1:45 in the afternoon, and 7:45 in the evening. Now, off to the grocery store to buy some foils and dog treats. 88.5 KEOM, keeping you up to date with your community and your pets.
So on that one, he was telling you how, because he has listened to Pet Tip before, he now knows how to take care of his pet better. And so that is his testimonial. And that one's a little bit, to me, a little bit more interesting to listen to. It's really easy to work in the benefits of the show when you're using a testimonial, because that's really what it's about. How's this show helped me? It's also written in a first-person voice, so you can talk about you yourself. Now, the thing with a testimonial is probably in real life, the show has not actually affected you in the way you're going to tell. So you do kind of have to make up a pretend testimony, but it does have to be believable. So that could be a con. It depends on your imagination. You also have to be a little bit careful because it could get a little bit cheesy sounding. By that I mean just silly. So you have to keep it where it could be real, but you know, they're fun to listen to. I'll tell you, our straight and our testimonial kinds of promos are probably the two that are the most likely to be approved to air on KEOM. These other two are fun, but they do get a little bit cheesy, so we have to be careful with them. So we'll talk about dialogue. Dialogue is what it sounds like. It's people talking to each other. And what it's going to sound like to the listener is kind of like they're eavesdropping in on somebody's conversation. And of course, the conversation topic is going to be the show that you are trying to promote. Here's an example. This one's actually a phone call conversation.
Hello? Hey, Amy. I need to get my body moving, but I feel like there's not enough time in the day to work out, and what is or isn't healthy to eat? Well, there is this program on KEOM 88.5 FM called the Fitness Minute. The what? The Fitness Minute. It's a syndicated program with fitness expert Annette Hammond. How can a radio show help me? Well, the show gives you tips and advice on how to live a healthy and fit lifestyle. Annette Hammond is a certified fitness trainer and wellness expert. Well, I'm too busy to listen to a lengthy program. It's only a minute long. It's named Fitness Minute, and it airs every day of the week. You can hear it as early as 1:30 in the morning, again at 12:30 in the afternoon, 5:30 in the evening, or 10:30 at night. So you're telling me that if I just tune into 88.5 any of those times, every day of the week, I can get helpful tips for fitness and healthy eating? Exactly. Tune into KEOM 88.5 FM for the Fitness Minute. Thanks, Amy.
Okay, so for this one, some people find it more creative. You have more opportunity to do something that sounds a little bit different. But again, with this one, it could get to be a little bit cheesy sounding, especially if you don't have good actors. And so you would have to think, if I'm going to do this, you have to be one of the actors. I make you be in your own promo. And then you have to think of somebody else that might be able to be the other voice that you're talking to. And it needs to be believable. So you have to be careful about that. And I will tell you, these dialogue ones are a little less likely to be approved to be on the air. Okay, the last one, again, this is another one that's sometimes hard to make not sound silly. But this one's a pretty good one.
Where's the ball? Do you have the ball? Hey, Cat, what are you doing?
Be quiet, dog. I'm trying to turn on the radio, but it's hard without thumbs. Good thing our human gets the radio set here on KEOM.
What's on KEOM?
Well, for a start, some of the best music from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. But that's not what I'm looking for right now. It's time for Pet Tip.
What's Pet Tip?
Pet Tip is a show that airs 3 times every Saturday and Sunday on 88.5 FM. I walked across the keyboard while our human was online and found out about it on KEOM.FM.
Oh boy, that sounds exciting. What kinds of things do they talk about on Pet Tip?
Maura Davies from the SPCA of Texas is the host, and she tells the humans lots of information on how to take care of us. Ah, there we go.
This is Maura Davies from the SPCA of Texas.
How does radio get turned on again? It couldn't have been you guys. Hey, it's time for Pet Tip. What a coincidence. I love this show.
Hey, Cat, your plan actually works.
Just like always.
I'm trying to listen here.
Okay, so that was kind of fun to listen to. So dramatized is going to sound more maybe like a skit. You're going to have actors, they're pretending to be somebody else, there's action happening. And with this one, again, it's creative. You can actually find some ways to use sound effects. You could in the dialogue one too. That could be kind of fun. Again, have to have good actors It does sometimes sound cheesy, and so because of that, they are less likely to be approved to actually go on the air. So you have to consider that if you want to do something like dialogue or dramatize, that you have to make it good or it's not going to be approved to be aired. Now you can also kind of do a combo of two of them. For example, maybe your whole promo isn't going to be dramatized, but you can have, a few lines from people that is dramatized, or a dialogue between two people, and then an announcer comes on later to kind of give the rest of the information. So that's an idea as well. So which style did you find the most interesting, and why? Okay, so if you've gotten this far, and you still have some extra time in class, I am going to go ahead and let you pick the feature that you are going to promote. Now, the list is taped in the middle cubicle between mine and Miss Turner's office, and you can pick one, and once you've picked one, you put your name on the list, and it's first come, first served. So if somebody else has already put their name next to one, you don't get to. Now, if you want to, before you actually sign up for one, if you want to get some information on them, you can go to our KEOM website, keom.fm, click on the Programs and Podcast link, and you can read some descriptions of them, and you can do those. Now, you don't have a choice of all of them because some of these have already been done, so only pick from the ones that are on the list in the cubicle, but you can look at them here if you want to. So once you've signed your name, it is officially yours, but it is not yours until your name is on that sheet. Okay, and then once you have done that, if you still have more time, I am going to have another assignment in Google Classroom, and it is going to be a sheet that will help you start doing some research on the feature, and you'll just have to follow through it. I don't expect you to finish that at all today. We'll finish it in class next time.